Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy? Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. Ladies and gentlemen, on my channel, I'm always telling you guys, live an active lifestyle, make smart nutritional choices, right? Move more and sit less. Fight against the laziness, right? It's not about perfection, but about consistency. It's not about what you look like in the mirror, but about how you feel. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. And I've shown you guys different exercises, and I've told you guys that there's different ways that you can test yourself. Right? And I've shown you guys different exercises that can test you in certain areas. So I've told you guys many times on this channel, I don't do any direct ab work. I don't do crunches. I don't do any of this stuff, man. Sit-ups. I don't do any direct ab work. I told you, most of my core work comes from things like burpees, the farmer's carries, right? These are the kinds of things I've told you. These are full body workouts, ladies and gentlemen, that work your core muscles, right? Your lower back, right? Your obliques, right? Your ab muscles, your entire core. It goes all the way around, guys. This is how you are able to remain upright when you're walking, right? You don't want to be hunched over, right? You don't want to have you want to keep this area nice and strong, right? Because what our core is meant to do is to keep us upright, right? To keep us rigid, right? To keep everything here tight. That's why I always tell you guys, or you've heard people say, keep it tight. When you keep things tight, right? Remember, you're lifting something overhead. You want to keep all this tight. If you don't, then you're going to do all this. When I'm doing the farmer's walk, what do I always tell you guys? Keep it tight, right? So if you're holding that rock or whatever you're holding, a bag of books, whatever it is, and you're holding that, you have to engage the core muscles. All of this must be engaged or you're going to fall over. You're going to fall to the side, right? When you're doing a farmer's carry, a suitcase carry, I told you guys, I walk with things in my hand, right? You have to keep this tight or you're going to lean over. You're going to tip over. So to keep yourself upright, you must remain rigid. So there are different ways, once again, to exercise your core. You don't need to do a bunch of crunches and say, who does that stuff? That's old school mentality, right? Not saying that these things won't work. They're not good for you. They're not good for you. Crunching is not helping your lower back. And it's not really strengthening your core muscles, right? Because like I said, the core is meant to keep us upright. It's not just supposed to be about crunching forward, right? So you've seen me in my videos. I've done things and I've shown you guys examples of me doing human flags on like telephone poles or street signs, things of that nature, right? And I don't practice this stuff. This is a result, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it's the result. I told you guys, man, it's a result, right? If you stay consistent, you stay in the routine, and you're doing the right things, you're pushing yourself, the results will come. And me being able to do a human flag was a result of all the work that I had put in over the years. So I told you, I was reading that Men's Health magazine. This is years ago, ladies, Men's Health magazine. Years ago, probably, 20 years ago almost, maybe 15 years ago. I was reading the Men's Health magazine and Jason Statham was on the cover. And in the article, and shout out to Jason Statham, man, huge fan of him. And in the article with Jason Statham, they were going over, he was, training for some new movie role. I don't know if it was Transporter or whatever the movie was at the time. And you guys know Jason Statham, man. He's a badass of Hollywood, man. Dude is legit, man. Like I said, love a lot of his movies, man. His demeanor, his attitude, his swag, all that stuff, man. The dude is legit. But Jason Statham is also in very good shape, man. Like I said, he's a no-nonsense approach to training. Has earned my respect over the years, man. It's one of the main reasons why I respect him. I've read these articles with him, and I've seen him train. And like I said, the dude is legit, man. But anyway, in the article, he was doing a human flag. I think they were at the beach or something. And he was doing the human flag. You know when you hang on the pole sideways and your body is straight out. And I saw him doing that. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. I wonder if I could do that. And I doubt I could. I didn't think I could. I didn't know if I could. Never tried to do that a day in my life. So the next opportunity I had, to find a street sign or, something like that, I tried it. And I was able to do it. I was actually able to do it pretty easily or easier than I thought I would be able to do. I didn't think I'd be able to do it at all. Like I said, I never tried this thing. I never trained to do this, but this was a result of all of my training, ladies and gentlemen. That's what it was. So when I tell you guys to train your body as one unit from the head to the toes, to do a human flag, essentially that's what you're doing. You're keeping your entire body rigid from the head to the toes. Everything must be in line and everything must be tight. So that's a way that you can test yourself, right? The handstand walks. You guys have probably seen me in my videos walking on my hands for quite some distance. I could probably walk, I don't know, maybe 50 yards on my hands without stopping. Maybe even further than that. Once again, I haven't never challenged myself that way. But I remember seeing a lot of, I can't remember what video I was watching. I was watching, maybe it might have been the CrossFit Games years ago. And I saw these guys walking on their hands. And I was like, damn, these guys would walk on their hands like it was nothing. Like it was just like they were walking on their feet. So once again, I thought to myself, I wonder if I could do that. And I attempted to walk on my hands. And I tell you guys, I couldn't even go like 2 steps on my hands. Couldn't even go 2 or 3 steps. I would go up on my hands 2 or 3 steps and come right back down. And I continued that process for months and for a couple of years. Continued that process. So I got to the point where, like I just told you, I could walk on my hands probably across half a football field. Like nothing. And I can go pretty far on my hands. And like I said, this is all from me pushing myself and just working day after day, week after week, month after month, to eventually I was able to do these things. You're testing yourself. You're testing your limits. So the things that you've been doing in the gym or out in the park, whatever it is, you're testing yourself. That's the fun thing about fitness, ladies and gentlemen, and health. It allows you to test yourself. It allows you to be able to do things that you didn't think that you can do. But you never test yourself. You never tried these things. This is what fitness does for you guys. It allows you to do some of this stuff. I remember watching parkour videos some years back. If you go to my Instagram, you can probably see me doing some of these parkour stuff. Not anything advanced, nothing crazy. I was never no crazy, high-level parkour practitioner. But I was watching these videos of these guys doing parkour at these parks. And I was like, damn, I wonder if I could do some of this because it looked really cool and fun to do. So once again, it's a different way to stay fit and to get exercise in, get your heart rate going, but also being a kid, having fun, climbing things, jumping off of things. To me, that was always fun. A lot of us grew up in the times of monkey bars and, things of that nature, climbing trees. We did this stuff when we were young. Kids don't do that anymore. We grew up during that time. So for me, climbing things is great. So like I said, to be able to do something like that, insane. You think about American Ninja Warrior and being able to climb and do all these, to me, that's just fun stuff. That's fitness right there. That's exercise. It's not boring. It keeps it interesting. So these are all the things that we're talking about, testing yourself. So I've told you guys also, another way that you can test your core is by doing the L sit. All right. And I've done video on the L sit. So I have my 2 little, my tricep dip bars here. And you can do the L sit on here. So what's the L sit? The L sit is quite simply, you don't need anything like this, these dip bars to do this, but you want something sturdy that you can lift yourself up onto, right, to give you a little clearance from the ground. And all you can do is hold your feet out. You're going to hold your legs out just like that. Hold them out straight, and you're going to hold it for time, and then you're going to bring your legs back down, right, and then relax. And, I used to be able to hold that for a long time, man, probably like a minute when I was at my best, when I was at my strength, man. But now I can maybe hold that for maybe 20, 30 seconds, maybe at most. But you test yourself with the L sit, ladies and gentlemen, right? There's different ways. Like I said, you don't need these, dip bars to do this, but just another way you can test yourself, because that's really what makes fitness and exercise fun. Like I said, it's testing ourselves. That's why I always enjoy CrossFit and the CrossFit workouts, because you're testing yourself. That's it. You're going against the workout. You're not worrying about the next person and what they're doing. You're competing against the workout. You're competing against yourself, trying to be better than you were last time. And to me, that's what makes fitness fun. Like I said, you never know what you can do until you try to test and push yourself. And the more things that you're doing, the more active that you are, the more you're going to be able to do with your body, ladies and gentlemen. That's the key. So remember to get out there, keep moving, keep pushing yourself, and try to test your fitness.